January 15th. Dear Kevin, please forgive the long hiatus since my last letter. There has been so much that happened in the last 2 weeks that I barely find the time to sleep and eat. I dropped my cell phone a week ago. Your messages on our home answering machine let me know you've left me voicemail messages, but I won't be able to get them unless I get a new phone. Please be patient. I am trying to make sense of what is going on, and by writing it to you, I can see it with more clarity than I can when it is only a mess in my brain. My mama had stopped taking her medication without telling us. I should have noticed because she started mumbling to herself and wouldn't look me in the eyes. I was so happy not to see her vacuous expression when she was on the meds that I thought nothing of it. She said she was going out for a walk and didn't come back. I stayed up all night waiting for her, and Daddy drove around looking for her. I had to go into work that morning, so I didn't find out what happened until later. My poor mama was arrested. She was told by a police officer that she had to leave the park where she was sitting in because she was sitting there after midnight. She became belligerent and tried to hit him. She was arrested. She didn't use her phone call to contact us. She did not want to call us to bail her out. The police called Daddy the following day while I was at work. He went down to the station to bail her out, and when they brought her from the cell, she yelled and screamed and made a scene, refusing to go with him. She said stuff like he had killed her boy, convincing him to join the military. She fell to the floor and would not leave with Daddy. He cried to me when he told me about it. An ambulance was called to the police station, and Mama was taken to the emergency room for a psychological evaluation. By the time my shift was done, she had been admitted. I was exhausted. So after Daddy cried and sat, and I talked with him for a few hours, I collapsed and slept until the morning. The next 3 days were filled with working and trying not to think. I got your letter and read it, but the last paragraph reminded me of Mama. I don't want to scare you, but I know you are right. I do not think ill of you, and I will tell you more about what I have decided later. Daddy and I moved the stuff from Chet's room. We put everything into boxes and moved the boxes into the basement. It felt good to stand in the empty room, but it did feel strange. I went through a lot of my own stuff, cleaned out my own room, and filled a few boxes. It was nice to pare down my own room, tidy things up. It was like I was trimming the unneeded branches from my tree of life. When I came out of my room, I found Daddy holding a box too. We both had gone through our stuff. We brought our own boxes down to the basement and placed it right beside Chet's. We sat in the garage that night and talked about Chet and Mama. Daddy is very proud of me and thinks you are wonderful. He told me that I shouldn't feel like I had to stay with him, and if I felt it was right, I should take the chance and move with you. It let me know how much he cares. He loves me, and he wants me to be happy, even if it means moving away while he works through this with Mama. On my next day off, I went to see Mama, and it was terrible. She looked medicated, more so than before. I did most of the talking, but the few things she said were angry, or it was like she didn't recognize me. When she looked at me, it was like she looked through me, and it hurt. I asked her to come home, and she laughed. She stood up and walked out of the room, and I kept asking her to come home. Why won't you come home? Daddy wants to help. She left the room, and I sat there crying. A nurse came in, a sweet woman. She talked with me. She told me not to feel so bad, that my mama would get better with time. I told her I always cook with plenty of time, and she laughed. I went on a long walk. I tried to figure out what was happening to Mama. The rain started then, and I got caught in it. I walked for hours and slipped walking down the hill by Jessica Dashin's place. I think that's where I lost my phone, because I didn't have it when I got home. The rain lasted through the night, and the basement flooded. Water from a crack in the cement floor built up. 2 feet of it covered the entire basement. The washing machine and dryer had to be replaced. The boxes, all the stuff we had placed down there, became waterlogged and ruined. It took 4 days for the water to recede with the help of 2 pumps we used to push the water into the backyard, and I kept going to work, putting on the happy face for customers and diligently giving attention to the merchandise and inventory. That's when you left the message on the machine at home. We took a look when the basement was relatively dry. I tell you, my sweet Kevin, to see all those things, all the trinkets and memories and photos destroyed in the flood, it wasn't really sad. I mean, it was a little sad at first, but it was liberating. Those things were nice, but they were not me. Just because they were destroyed does not mean I was destroyed. I felt free in a way, and I still do feel free. Daddy and I went through the process of dragging the soaked boxes with the destroyed belongings upstairs. He tried to set some of Chet's stuff in the backyard so they would dry out, but I was okay with letting my stuff go. It was truly a moment of self-recognition, and I think I understand what Mama is going through in a way. She is Mama, and she is Mama to me and Chet. When Chet died, a part of her, 1/2 of her Mama-ness, died too, and she is trying to reconcile her life without that part of herself living now. I think my being here reminds her of her pain. Chet and I both called her Mama. And so I think you are right in saying I should come to live with you, but not for the reasons you stated. I need to come there, not for my sake, but for the sake of my Mama. 2 nights ago, Marcy took me out to the comedy shop in town for the open mic, and to help me alleviate some stress. Ronnie Chet appeared and got a fantastic reaction from the crowd. I love you and miss you and need to know when I can come out there. Yours, Veronica.